Hey, I'm your girl, Sean Rochelle. And for those of you that don't know me, let me introduce myself. I am a portrait and branding photographer, content creator, and I am a new breast cancer survivor. That's right. This year, I battled breast cancer. It was the biggest fight of my life, and I won. I was diagnosed on March the 14th, 22. Um, and it turned my whole life around. So let me tell you, the biggest question that people ask me when I tell them that I was battling breast cancer, or I currently had, well, I had breast cancer at the moment because I don't have it anymore. Um, the number one question people would ask me would be like, how did you know? How did you know? I didn't know. I had no idea. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any different. I thought I was 100% healthy. I actually was going in for my routine mammogram, my very first mammogram ever, right? Overwhelming first time mammogram experience. Um, but I'm just gonna kind of tell you how it went. So like if this ever happens to you, you'll kind of know what to expect. So you go in for your routine mammogram. If they detect anything, they'll call you in and say, "Hey, we seen something abnormal on your mammogram. We want to go ahead and ultrasound it." So then you go in for ultrasound. So when I went in for my ultrasound, we spent about 20 to 30 minutes in ultrasound. She was like, "It doesn't quite look like a lump, but it doesn't look like the other breast either. It doesn't look like the other side either." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So she was like, "To be on the safe side, I want to biopsy it." I'm like, "Listen, to be on the safe side, I want you to biopsy it, right?" So she was like, "Cool, cool, cool." So we was on the same page. So I was like, "Okay, I was cool with that, right?" So went in, got a biopsy. So during the biopsy, um, I went in. This was even greater. So I went in to get the biopsy. I laid down on the table, and when I tell you, it wasn't even 5 minutes, and the ultrasound tech was like, "I'll be right back." I'm like, "Okay." I didn't think nothing of it. I'm just like, "Okay." So she comes back in, but she comes in with the doctors, right? And the doctors was like, "Miss such and such, we just found a second lump." What? We just found a second lump. So we're gonna go ahead and biopsy that one too. So what turned out to be a biopsy for one tumor ended up being a biopsy for two tumors. So um they took a little piece off each. So what they do is you lay there. They take this like it's like an ultrasound guided biopsy. So you're laying down on your back. There's a screen. You get to see them put the needle in whatever direction they're gonna put it in, and then you see them pinch a little bit off of the spot. Right? They pinched a little bit off the spot. And they went to the next spot, pinched a little bit off of that spot. Um, they also leave these little tiny implantation devices. They're like little, they're tiny, little tiny metal things, so that they can know where the spots are. So I was like, okay. Um, Went home. I said I wasn't gonna dwell on. Listen, you guys, I wasn't thinking nothing about this biopsy because it was nowhere in my heart of hearts that I even thought that I had cancer. Right? Plus, it was my first mammogram. I'm thinking, who the hell gets cancer on their first mammogram? Me, obviously. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but yeah, I wasn't ready. So I get a call. I don't even get a call from like my doctor. I don't even get any call from anyone in the breast cancer unit. I got a call from an OBGYN that wasn't even mine. Like she picked it up and was like, "Hi, Miss Such and Such. I was calling to let you know that we got your results back, and your results are positive. They're along the lines of breast cancer. So you have breast cancer, and I assure you that my mom just went through this. You're gonna be okay. Um, you're in good hands with Henry Ford, and blah 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 blah." All right, thank you. Have a good day. I got hung up, got off the phone. Yeah, I was so shaky. I started crying. And the reason why I was crying the most, the first thing that came to my mind was like, dude, I have three children, three young children, three, 8, and 15. I'm like, dog, my children need me. They need me. And not just only do they need me, I'm like, I still got some living to do. I still have some things to finish, some things to start, some things to see, some places to take my children. I gotta make sure that my children grow up to be some dope entrepreneurs and all this other good stuff, whatever they want to do. Like, yo, I need to be there, right? That's what really got me shook up. So I got a good cry out. Got a good cry out, and then it was game time. This is so. Let me tell y'all this. This is so crazy. So she told me, I called one other person, chopped it up with that person, told them. Then I called my friend and was like, Keita. She like, yeah. I'm like, dog, I got breast cancer. She like, shut the hell up. She like, no effing way, Sean. No way. I'm like, yeah, I just got off the phone with them. And she like, what? I'm like, no, it's cool. I ain't gonna worry about it, but I'm about to go to the camera store because I had a client that day. She like, what? I'm like, I'm about to go to the camera store. Like, in my mind, I'm like, ain't nothing I can do about it right now. Call my brother and my mom, tell them at the same time, and I'm like, all right, I'm about to go to the camera store. Yo, I tried to go to the camera store like it was no big damn deal, right? Tried to go to the camera store. Um, my mom and brother come outside, y'all. They talking to me. They didn't get all. They started giving me these big old hugs. Your girl broke down again. I'm in the car. They like, you gonna try to go to the camera store? I'm like, yeah, like life keeps going and I got to work. So I started crying. Now I can't, you can't drive and cry. I've done it before, but this was like a cry. So my brother drove me to the camera store. I got myself together, went in and got the paper rolls or whatever that I needed. And I was just like, man, like I processed it. And when I processed it, I was like, okay, what I gotta do next? I'm that person. Like, what I gotta do next? I want to give you this little tidbit, right? I know everybody is built different. That's what makes us all unique. But I kid you not. If you really start building yourself personally, developing yourself, if you build your strength up, build your faith up in whatever you believe in, whatever you have faith in, like build it up before something happens. Because when something major happens, you're going to need it. And the one thing you don't want to do is to be trying to build yourself up and get through whatever the hurdle is at the same time. No, baby, you build yourself up before it happens. Like you prepare and you train. You know what I'm saying? Like military and army and all that other kind of stuff. They don't just be like, oh, we're going to sit around and if it's a war, we just going to gather our army and we're going to be ready. No, they train, they got basic training, whatever other type of special ops training or whatever that is. You prepare for war before. You prepare for the battle before. So, baby, when it comes, you ready, right? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I was already ready. Naturally, I'm human, so boom, it shook me up a little bit because I wasn't ready to hear it. But baby, I was ready for the fight. I'm always ready for the fight. I got this. That's what my shirt say. Like once I dust that off my shoulders and I sat back and was like, what your girl gotta do? I went into game mode. I went into mama bear mode. Like what I gotta do because I gotta be here. So I told my nurse practitioner, I said, listen, I have 3 children and I still have things to do. And she said to me, and we want to see you do them things. I'm like, well, all right, baby, we on the same page. We are on the same page. Um, so just tell me what I got to do. So she was like, when I get more information, because there's a number of things that make up the stage. So when I first found out, I didn't know the stage. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what fed the breast cancer. I just knew that I had breast cancer, right? So I said, it was about a 2 week process before I realized, like I got my first appointment, and realized like my stage and all that other kind of stuff. So when I was diagnosed with stage 2A. And it's funny because when you're on the outside of the cancer world, you just know cancer is being in stages from like 1 to 4, right? But every stage has A or B. So I had stage 2A. Um, and my so breast cancer can be fed by three things. They can be fed by estrogen, estrogen, progesterone, and HER2, right? So mine was negative for estrogen and progesterone, and it was positive for HER2. So um, that was that. And they said, hey, so you're going to start chemo on April the 11th. So that was that. Like it was a month, like almost a little bit less than a month, because I was diagnosed on March the 14th. I started chemo on April the 11th, and I was just like, man. So I want to tell y'all what I did before, once I realized that I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and before I started chemo. This is what I did. It just dropped in my spirit, and I followed along. This one I did. So start Amazon wish list, y'all. I don't even use Amazon wish list. I don't even do it for my kid's birthday, but it was like the Holy Spirit is like start Amazon wish list. I did that. So I'm gonna put down in the comments below on where you can find my Amazon wish list checklist, so that if you have to battle cancer, or if someone that you know that's battling breast cancer can go ahead and get the checklist, and then you can start your own Amazon wish list too. But that's my story of how I was diagnosed. Um, I am going to talk about my next video will be talking about the process of my first oncology appointment. So thank you for joining me. Again, my name is Sean Rochelle, and I am a breast cancer survivor.